Yo, yo, yo! This is Ben Covage from Elevated Trips at elevatedtrips.com. And today we're going to tell you exactly what you need to pack in your day pack for a day hike on the Tibetan Plateau. Okay, so let me walk you through exactly what I'm wearing, because it's actually not going to be as cold as you think it's going to be, because the sun is so bright. And the high altitude sun, when you're up at 3,600, 4,000, 4,500 meters, those are typical altitudes you'll be hiking at on the Tibetan Plateau. The sun is just super bright, okay, so it warms you quite a bit. And a lot of the places on Tibetan Plateau, like in Qinghai province where I live, we get over 300 days of sunshine, which means rain is very small. Really only July and August is kind of a slightly damp rainy season, but even then it's nothing like an Indian or Nepal monsoon. It's still quite dry. So hiking in Tibet, you can expect high, dry climates and bright sun, which means, first of all, you're gonna need sunglasses and lots of sunscreen. You can already see my cheeks are getting a little bit rosy and ruddy here, and I recommend sunglasses that are polarized because the sun is really bright, so that polarization does help to filter out the bright sun. These are Jawbo sunglasses. I like this brand. It's kind of a mountaineering slash kind of backpacking brand. Jawbo's cool. Oakley, Spy, anything that's polarized and it has kind of a wraparound effect, because you're going to have that sun really coming in the sides and tops of your sunglasses, so really make sure your eyes are protected. Okay, so what do I got on the top here? I got this Patagonia kind of ski hat, and I like this because it covers up my ears with these little flaps. Very nice. Looks like these little pom-pom balls. That's just a little optional preference there. I'm wearing a North Face piece, and this is has a hood. Everything I wear has a hood just because I like the extra warmth. I think it's great if you get caught in a snowstorm or something. The odds are low, but you have the hood just for extra head protection if you need it there. The other thing I'm wearing is this Patagonia puffy jacket. So you can see this is very similar to kind of what Patagonia makes these days. This is probably 8 years old, so it's got a lot of use. But this is down. I like down because it packs really small and it's really warm. The Patagonia makes a nice puffy jacket. The Nano Puff, there's a lot of puffy jackets out there. I'm sure every outdoor brand makes something very similar to this. Again, it has a hood, and I like that because I can just cover my head if I need to in a winter snowstorm. Okay, what else do I have on my top? I got this North Face soft shell jacket. I like this jacket. It's got a pocket in the chest, just like my shirt. I like this chest pocket. If you got little AirPods or tissue paper or anything like that, little things, little snacks you can put in there. That way you're not digging through your bag. I really like the chest pocket. Okay, down to what I'm wearing on my legs and feet. Okay, down to the pants. You can see this is a soft shell, just like my soft shell jacket. These are actually whole gloves pants. I really like the soft shell. It's stretchy, which I like for hiking. I have pretty big legs, so that's nice for me. And I'm actually not wearing any long underwear. A lot of people do like to wear long underwear because it does get cold, but I find when I'm hiking, my legs get quite warm. Coming down to the socks here. Norrøna, this is a Norwegian brand. I like them. This is all merino wool. It's super thick sock. I'm only wearing one layer. Some people do like to wear a liner sock. I'm wearing these nice merino wool socks. If they get a little bit of snow in them, they'll be okay and they'll keep my feet nice and dry. And then for hiking shoes, just something, this is actually an Adidas Trail Runner, something with a little bit of tread here, but if you prefer boots, you can also wear boots. Talk a little bit about boots versus shoes. For me, I've hiked over 2,150 miles on the Appalachian Trail. I've hiked the 2,650 miles of the Pacific Crest Trail. I've done a lot of long distance hiking, and when you're hiking those distances, 30, 40 kilometers per day times 180 days in a row, you really just want something light on your feet, because a shoe or a boot rather, can actually give you blisters, and it can, when it gets wet, it just never dries. Whereas a trail runner is a little bit lighter on your feet. Of course, it doesn't have as much traction or support on the ankle. I personally almost always hike in trail runners, something like a Merrell or Adidas, or there's a lot of great brands out there these days that make, a North Face makes shoes, Arc'teryx makes shoes. Any of those brands are really, really nice. I highly recommend a nice trail runner with a nice grip. It could be Gore-Tex or not. One of my go-to hiking shoes has actually been the Salomon. Probably when I was doing those long distance hiking trails, I got more mileage out of a Salomon, probably twice as many miles, probably 1,000 miles, whereas a normal trail runner, I used to get about 500 miles out of those shoes. So just note on shoes, you might spend a little bit more money on shoes, but I do recommend something between 100 to 150 US dollars as far as price. Don't skimp on your shoes. You're gonna need nice shoes and good support and a good tread. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my bag. What's in my bag and what am I carrying for a day pack? I recommend something that's about 20 to 25 liters. You're just going to be out for a day. You're probably going to be out 6 to 8 hours hiking in the day. And so I recommend something that can hold about 4 to 5 liters of water. That's a lot of water. Honestly, about half my pack weight is actually water. And I recommend about a half liter of water per hour. At least you're going to be hiking, and maybe even a little bit more. I personally drink a lot of water. The high altitude sun here, it just sucks your pores dry out of water. So you're going to need a lot of water. Even though you're cold, you're still going to want to drink a lot, and you're going to get a headache very quickly here at altitude. So it's super important the night before your hike, be drinking a lot of water, be drinking a lot of water during your hike. The number one way you can make yourself feel better is actually carrying a lot of water. So it's a lot of weight, but carry the weight and just drink the weight as you go, and then you'll come back with an empty pack. Okay, what do I carry in my day bag? So I'm going to go through my day bag and I'm going to show you exactly what is in there right now. So first thing, traveling anywhere in China or abroad, I always recommend you carry your passport. And these days you may need a coronavirus test if you're crossing provinces or borders within China, domestically within China. Usually to travel, you're going to need a 48-hour coronavirus test. I have both of those here. Okay, what else do I have? I have some tissues. There's no bathrooms out here, and even if there was a bathroom, they probably wouldn't provide tissues. So make sure you bring lots of tissues. I usually bring 2 or 3 of these little packs. These are great. You can just put them right into one of your pockets here. Okay, what else do I have? I have hand sanitizer. This is nice. If you have to use the bathroom, or if you just get into kind of a mucky situation, or you're eating out here, I always want to use hand sanitizer. The number one way to prevent diarrhea while hiking and camping is just keep your hands clean, and then that way you won't be getting all the germs from all the things you're doing while walking in the backcountry. And of course, you're going to need food and snacks. I made a little egg sandwich here. This is just something you can do locally. I'm just kind of giving you local ideas because obviously the Tibetan Plateau doesn't have all like the Cliff Bars and stuff that we have in the West. So I took a little, what's called a mianbao, or like little just white bread, and I put some eggs in it. That's a nice little lunch, little snack that we're going to have here. And then of course, Snickers are always a very popular thing. This is like my go-to lunch and snack. I got about 6 or 7 of these for about the 7 or 8 hours that we're hiking today, and it's just about the cheapest amount of energy that you can get, and you can actually buy these almost anywhere in China, even on the Tibetan Plateau these days. So I'm a big fan of Snickers. Actually, when I was hiking the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, I used to eat 10 of these babies every single day. That was the best diet ever. So I'm a big fan of Snickers. I try to get sponsored by these guys, but actually they're too big of a company to sponsor me. But anyway, I still love Snickers, and I eat a bunch of them every day because these are just really good hiking food. But just make sure if it's really cold, they can get really quite hard and they can almost break your teeth. So try to keep them warm as well, but not too hot so they're not too melty. Other snacks I bring, you can usually get these kind of drinkable yogurts anywhere in any grocery store on the Tibetan Plateau or anywhere in China. And then if you're a little bit tired of Snickers, you can kind of branch out and do something like these Dove bars. I like these. They're a little bit more expensive than Snickers. Snickers tend to be about 6 kwai, about $1 US in China. These tend to be 8 to 12 kwai. So yeah, about $1.50. So still pretty good. That's probably a little bit less than you pay in America, actually. So what am I eating for lunch? You've seen my snacks. I'm going through basically candy bars, yogurt, some chocolates, things like that. Very typical hiking snacks. For lunch, haven't gotten to lunch yet, but we're gonna have peanut butter. And notice that I packed it in this little Tupperware. I don't want to bring a whole jar of peanut butter just because it's a big jar and it's too heavy for me to be packing. So I brought just enough peanut butter for me to put on my tortilla today. And I also have a nice little bottle of honey. It's kind of hiker size, and this is actually only about half full. So I'll have peanut butter and honey tortillas. You can also bring bagels, or you can just buy some local bread at a lot of bakeries. A lot of Muslim bakeries have really, really good bread, and I highly recommend that. Okay, other snacks, you can buy these kind of cheapy crackers at almost any grocery store, even any little gas station. They have these, so you can buy these. I'll probably put the peanut butter on these, and I'll also have a little treat. Lay's potato chips, baby. These have just come to China probably in the last few years, so I'm excited about that. That'll be my little treat for the top of the mountain. Otherwise, I like lollipops. I like little suckers, things like Jolly Ranchers, things like that. Little candies you can suck on. It just gives you a little sugar and gives you a little something to eat while you're hiking. Okay, so that's almost about everything that is in my day bag. I do have a drone and some camera equipment, but that's sort of just personal to me. If you're hiking in Tibetan Plateau, you're gonna get some beautiful views, so make sure you at least bring a nice camera. If that's even just an iPhone, just bring that. I do bring this headlamp. We probably won't be hiking in the dark tonight. We plan to be done at 3 or 4 p.m. and we should be back to the car, no problem. But you never know. Sometimes you get lost, sometimes fog comes in, sometimes there's just unexpected delays. Always have a headlamp. Check the batteries and make sure you have new batteries in this, because I've been hiking with a headlamp with dim or no batteries, and that's not very fun. And by the way, you don't want to be using your cell phone for a flashlight, because it's better to have your hands free, especially if you're kind of scrambling down some boulders or a mountain. I will say the cold air tends to suck the battery life quickly out of phones, chargers, drones, whatever you got. So make sure you bring a lot of batteries. I always bring at least 1 or 2 of these. These will last for generally about 3 or 4 hours of charging as you fly through China and across the world. Generally, I find you can only bring a battery charger that is 10,000 megahertz or 10,000 mAh, okay? So make sure you check on your battery charger how many megahertz it is, because that's going to be important. If it's over 10,000, they're probably not going to let you take it to the airport. So I always bring this one. This one's one I bought at Miniso, which is a little kind of Japanese brand store in China. So make sure you bring chargers, lots of extra batteries, because the cold will take your batteries out very, very fast. As with hiking anywhere around the world, whether you're in Tibet or South America or wherever you're at, make sure that all of your layers are actually wicking, which means that they're water resistant, that they're kind of a synthetic material, that they're not cotton. Very important to not be wearing cotton. If you're sweating out here, if this underlayer was really, really wet and cold and this was cotton, it would actually keep the moisture right on my body. And with the wind and the cold temperatures out here, you really don't want that on the Tibetan Plateau. With -10, -15 degrees Celsius, you don't want it to be cold and you don't want to be wet. So make sure all your layers are synthetic and have that wicking property. You'll see a lot of the layers I'm wearing are name brands: Patagonia, North Face, Norona, Hoglofs, things like that. Those are pretty expensive brands. I'm spending $50 to $100 on a lot of these pieces, sometimes a little bit more for a jacket. That's a lot of money. I'm probably wearing about $400 to $500 US of clothing, which is a lot, but for me as a hiking guide on the Tibetan Plateau, it's worth it. If you're looking to save a little bit more money and buy something a little bit off-brand, Decathlon is a good store in China and around the world where you can buy cheaper hiking clothing. I will say the Decathlon stuff probably won't last as long as some of this other more name brand stuff, but if you're just going out for a couple weeks or whatever, or just a short trip to the Tibetan Plateau, those are always good. As far as buying gear, if you forget something, if you're in Lhasa if you're in Xining, if you're in Chengdu, there are outdoor stores there. If you're traveling anywhere on the Tibetan Plateau in a major city with more than 1 million people, you should be able to find some pretty decent outdoor stores. And you can buy trekking poles, sleeping bags, backpacks. Some of them are even Western brands as well, but do expect to pay more money for the Western brands because there's an import tax into China. Okay, last item, but not least, trekking poles. These are Black Diamond trekking poles. You can see they have this little basket on them. They have a nice sharp tip, which I like. That's good for gripping snow and ice. I probably won't use these very much going uphill, but going downhill will be very, very nice. So especially on your knees, you're gonna want a trekking pole like this. This happens to be Black Diamond. There's a lot of good trekking pole companies. There's even some Chinese off brands that make something a little bit cheaper if you're kind of just gonna do a one-time use thing. These are probably about 100 to 150 US dollars new. I highly recommend a nice set of trekking poles. These actually collapse and you can take the little lock here off, and they fit kind of right in the side back pocket of my backpack, and I like that. You can even get ones that are a little bit smaller than this that actually fold down and collapse even a little bit smaller than this. So make sure you have some trekking poles. This is going to save your knees on the way down, and if you're crossing any icy rivers or any kind of shady ravines that are a little bit slippery, this is going to be nice, and it's going to help you keep your balance. Awesome. This is Ben Cubbage from Elevated Trips at elevatedtrips.com, and that is what to pack for a day hike on the Tibetan Plateau.